The pitcher on the mound tonight for the Roughriders in game number 2, number 12, Vinny Tarantola. And now the starting lineups for your Boulder Collegians.
Welcome back to Scott Carpenter Park. Still sunny. We're getting ready for first pitch, which should come about 7 o'clock. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro, bringing you home for Boulder Collegians baseball. They dropped the first of their doubleheader and look to get out of the loss column, which has been familiar for this team. 5 of their last 6 have all been losses, and they've dropped to 19-10 overall, 8-7 in league play. Don't want to drop back down to 500, Pat.
And it's even more of a tough loss as the Collegians held the lead in the bottom of the fifth, 5-4. And they were looking good. Jordan Hill got a quick first out, got an easy fly ball to center field, and then unfortunately things took a big turn for the worse as the ball, instead of falling in the mitt of center fielder Nico Nincy, it hit off the side of his arm as he tumbled to the ground, expecting to be cushioned by the center field fence. 5 runs later, and the Collegians could not answer back. They lost game 1, 9-5. And exactly right, they need to battle back and win this second game. Besides it being a league game, it's good for them to try to get back on track to their winning ways, as they have been under 500 in the past spell of 9 or 10 games. And Race Gardner is going to be the man tasked with the job of trying to come back with a victory after a loss. We've seen him pitch very well with that solid black and red baseball mitt, and he's going to need to do it again today. Behind him in defense will be his backstop Brett Bonar, and at first base, moving in from the outfield, is Gabe Gioso. At second base for the first time today, we'll see Ryan Grasser. At shortstop, again, Addy Kosh. And Game 1's DH, Bryce Bullock, will be playing the hot corner. In left field, Marcus Altman gets his first appearance today on the 4th. In center is Nico Nincy, and in right field, Andrew Meadows. For the gentlemen in the visitors' dugout, known as the Roughriders, they have a similar start to their lineup. 1 through 7 are identical. We've got Adam Adkins in center field leading off. Their shortstop, Jeff Sear, bats second. Devin Bracken will now move to first base. He was 2 for 3 in the first game with 2 RBIs. Jax Norris is now moving over to right field and will be batting cleanup again. The DH is Luke Parsons. Now catching will be the 6th hitter, Brock Downing, who moves from the outfield to behind the plate. Josh Page is your 3rd baseman. Stone Streeter's your 2nd baseman, hitting 8th. And batting 9th in left field, Sawyer Lofstead. Every hitter for these Roughriders got a hit in game 1. Race Gardner looking to start quickly here in game 2.
First pitch is fouled back. The men in black, really we call them blue here, are Tim Hatfield behind the plate and Garth Jacks out in the field. Some controversies with the umpires in game 1. We're hoping none here. The second pitch is a strike. Count evens at 1 apiece.
One might say the 2 disputing sides were Hatfield and the McCoys. And consider the Collegians, the McCoys there, as a few calls did not go their way. But ultimately, like a few of the players said, they simply just didn't get the job done. And they're going to need to do a better job of that here in game 2.
Race already ahead 1-2 on the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to those of you joining us on this broadcast of Boulder Collegians baseball. Gardner's 1-2 pitch. Curveball got the first man swinging, and Atkins goes down with a strikeout.
Great start to the game by the young right-hander from Pasadena Community College. He will be transferring over to the University of Hawaii at Hilo. He will unfortunately not be with the team should it get itself into contention in the NBC World Series in Wichita, as he does have new orientation as a new student in Hawaii.
Bunt down and then taken back by Sear, the shortstop. Patrick and I having a hot dog competition today, and it's been no competition. Patrick's got 5. I'm at 1.5 currently. Having down my second hot dog. This is a strike on the outside. It's 1-1. Our camera guy, James, what are you at? 4. You're at 4, too. Shockingly, the smallest one by far out of all of us is trailing in the hot dog race. But 1-1 from Gardner into right field and foul.
Jake, you do forget you do have a key edge here, as you have the largest mouth of all three of us. And it occasionally does write checks that your waist can't cash. I've lost track of this analogy here. But you know what? Don't count yourself out, buddy. You never know. If there's a reversal of fortune, you just may come back and win via disqualification.
All you could have said is you ate 100 hot dogs last year during the Rockies season. You didn't need to go and say that I've got a big mouth. 1-2 from Gardner, and this one slapped into left field. Going back is the left fielder, Altman. He'll see it towards the track. It's at least 2 for Sear, and he'll stand and hold at second base.
Good piece of hitting by the shortstop for the Roughriders, who tripled in his first at-bat in Game 1 of the doubleheader. And that brings up Devin Bracken, who was one of the hotter hitters for the Roughriders in the first game. Went 2 for 3, scored twice, and only made 1 real out. His first at-bat was a sac fly to center field that helped score the first run for the Roughriders.
Cloud cover takes over here as the first pitch by Gardner is a strike against Bracken.
Gardner, like many of these Collegians pitchers, has a very good ability of striking out runners. He may need to do that with a guy on second base here and just 1 out in the first.
That's a strike. He's ahead 0-2. First pitch came at 7 o'clock on the dot. Temperature is 83 degrees, mostly sunny. We are expecting the potential for some thunderstorms in the forecast. Right now, 10% chance of rain, 34% humidity. Winds coming out of the north at 7 miles an hour. Gardner ahead 0-2 on Bracken. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. It's the second strikeout for Race and the second out here in the first inning.
Jax Norris was a little bit quiet in the first game. I say that relatively speaking because he did hit a double, but he was 1 for 4 in Game 1 and did strike out during a key moment in the game in which the Roughriders were tallying runs by the handful, and he'll get another opportunity with a runner in scoring position here in the top of the first.
First pitch, runner going. The throw from Bonar to third. In time, got him. Bullock on the tag, Bonar on the throw. That's 3 outs. The Collegians retire them 1-2-3 in the first. We go to the bottom half. Collegians tied at 0-0.
I think he bobbled that.
Back for Game 2 of this doubleheader. Scoreless first for the Collegians, and Bryce Bullock will lead the Collegians off as Nico Nincy and Brett Bonar are set to bat as well this inning.
Hitting third will be the catcher, Brett Bonar. Batting cleanup now is Addison Kosh, the shortstop. DH Brady Mitchell hits fifth. Now moving up to the sixth spot in the order is now the first baseman, Gabe Gioso. Hitting seventh, Ryan Grasser at second base, and left field, Marcus Altman. And batting ninth, the right fielder, Andrew Meadows.
First pitch of the game, grounded over to the third baseman, hits the lip, and it's a leadoff single for Bryce Bullock. Josh Page had a hard time handling that ball on a rear grounder hit by the Collegian infielder.
Bullock, between games, said it was rather strange, not that he was DHing, but that he was DHing and then leading off. But he didn't hate it, which a lot of guys who have DH for the Collegians have. They don't like not being in the field and just coming up to the plate. You're half in the game and half out of the game.
Vinny Tarantola on the mound in Game 2. Collegians dropped Game 1, 9-5, first pitch a strike against Nico Nincy. They stranded plenty of runners, in fact got 13 on in the first game, but only scored 5 runs. Rain starting to come down here in Boulder. We'll make sure we cover all that. That's a foul back to the cage. We were expecting rain in Boulder. The thunderstorms did delay the start of the Rockies game at Coors Field. I believe they're underway now. 0-2, Tarantola is ahead on Nico Nincy. Bullock on first. The pitch, fouled back again. We'll do 0-2 once more. Bonar on deck, and Nincy at the bat right now. Game 1, Bryce Bullock got on with a leadoff base runner, and Nico hit a 2-run shot to give the Collegians a 2-1 lead. Quickly, the Roughriders took back the lead. The Collegians answered at 5-4, 0-2 pitch is fouled back, and then surrendered a 5-run sixth that ended up being the end of the game at 9-5. We'll do 0-2 again after Nincy fouled that off.
Was a little surprised the Collegians couldn't battle back there with their final 6 outs. Looked close to it, but unfortunately, nice pitching by Jerry Rivera in the clutch.
0-2 pitch, just missed away. Good frame there by the catcher, Brock Downing. Devin Bracken at first, Stone Streeter at second, Josh Page at third, Jeff Sear at short, Sawyer Lofstead in left, Adam Atkins in center, Jax Norse in right. Rough Riders in these USA-themed jerseys. 1-2 pitch, it's in the dirt. Bullock's going to take off for second, gets in there easily on the wild pitch. 2-2 now the count. Collegians in light blue for the holiday with red caps, red socks, and blue stripes on those socks.
Not sure if you were able to see the jerseys up close for the Rough Riders, but the numbers and the Rough Riders across the front of the jerseys are in their trademark green, along with white stars dotted throughout the lettering.
2-2 pitch from Tarantola. That misses in the dirt. The count runs full. Joined by John Kaya now up in the booth. John, are you up here just to get out of the rain? No. Yeah, that's true. The dugouts are covered here. Tarantola, full count pitch now to Nico Nincy. Left on left. Nincy swings at this in the dirt, and it's a strike. That's strike 3, the first out here of the first inning.
Nincy does not like hitting against left-handed pitchers, but an admirable job there to run the count to full before eventually striking out on pitch number 7 in the at-bat.
Bullock on second, reached on a single, 1 out. Brings up the big hitting left-handed catcher, Brett Bonar. Bonar swings through the first pitch from Tarantola. Not raining too hard.
Large drops, though. We can see it on the pole in front of us. We can see just how big they are. Bryce Bullock trying to make himself big on second base and draw a throw from the pitcher Tarantola.
0-1, Bonar swinging again for the fences, misses. It's 0-2.
And it appears that the wind is blowing in to the east just a little bit based on these raindrops coming down, the few that we have, that could suppress some of the fly balls to left field.
0-2 pitch. This is a league game, and the Collegians, if they lose this, drop to 8-8. The standings, Collegians came into today in third. Right now, they're tied for third. They've dropped to tied for third with the Denver Cougars. Colorado Sox right behind them, and if the Roughriders win this, they'll be a half game out of third as well. So Collegians now in a dogfight for seeding in the RMBL tournament. 2-2, that pitch missed.
And that's going to be the difference of playing a home game or playing one on the road. And we know the Collegians feel a lot better playing here in their home park at Scott Carpenter.
2-2 from Tarantola. And Bonar goes down swinging. Both strikeouts have come swinging. Both outs, strikeouts. Brings up Addison Kosh, the right-handed hitting shortstop. Game one, Kosh was rather quiet, walked twice, went 0 for 2. First pitch to him, it's a called strike.
Can you smell the moisture and the rain in the air? It's one of the few times you actually can smell that.
Well, I know you're asking me and not the viewers because they can't smell.
Not yet. 2019 season.
Smell-o-vision.
Yes, Jensen has promised smell-o-vision for this club. I'm going to be very excited about that.
You're giving Michael too hard of a time in the comments section, Patrick.
I love him, man. He's best. He's diehard. Love Michael. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Cash swings through that. It's 0-2.
And he's, in fact, he drinks his own beverage at home, apparently. Michael H. enjoying a Michael H. 2 strikes here. Let's see if Kosh can take one the opposite way for an RBI single.
That pitch misses from Tarantola. Looking to strike out all 3 outs here in the first.
A rare feat that we haven't seen very often from these collegiate hitters who do have a tendency of keeping the ball in play and getting some nice action.
There have been games where they haven't struck out 3 times in the entire game. 1-2, and Kosh goes down swinging. So a 1-2-3 first. After the single by Bryce Bullock, he gets stranded out at second, and the Collegians go down there without a run. So no runs on 1 hit, 0-0 the score as we head towards the second. Back here for the top of the second. Scoreless game thus far between the Collegians and Roughriders. Second of a twin bill. Collegians dropped game 1 by the count of 9-5. Race Gardner on the hill. First pitch a strike against Norse, who swings and misses.
Those of you at home listening to the game heard some nice royalty-free music, Dead Drop. It's a shame you weren't able to be here at the ballpark. Hear the great tunes from the DJ up in the press box, Adam Stowe, doing an amazing job on the 1s and 2s.
Even better, as this pitch is fouled off, is our scorekeeper, Allison Lissaway.
Who?
Allison Lissaway.
Oh, yeah.
I got her name right this time.
That's right, you did. I was
surprised.
surprised.
We'll see her brother play tomorrow. He plays for the team the Collegians are playing in a doubleheader. That action Thursday starts at 5 o'clock here at Scott Carpenter Park.
Colorado Cutthroats for 2 games. Could be seeing a lot more of them in the future here at Scott Carpenter Park.
1-2 pitch lined over to shortstop Addison Kosh. Easy jumping catch. Made it a little fancy. That's the Darren Erstad play.
Well, when the ball hit to him and I saw him do that, I did get a little concerned for that left shoulder, which we saw pop out of place a week and a half or so ago. But sure, made it look a little Erstad-esque, but did a nice job to make the second out here. Excuse me, the first out in the top of the second. Luke Parsons in at the box. Had himself a nice first game. He went 2 for 3. Also reached on a walk, scored 1, and had 2 RBIs to his name.
Gardner's 0-1, and that is fouled back to the left side. The rain has slowed down. Seen some fans in umbrellas. It's really hot here, and the rain's helping to cool off on this Independence Day at Scott Carpenter Park. 0-2 from Gardner. It's fouled back again. Playing the Sox in the first game tomorrow. Second inning is a 9-inning game against the Colorado Cutthroats. So the rare doubleheader that sees 2 different teams. The Roughriders actually had that when we played them last Tuesday. We being the Collegians. I was there, so I said we. 0-2.
And you know, I slept on that call for tomorrow's game, but you know what you won't be sleeping on? The field tomorrow night, because it's pajama night. So if you come out to the ballpark.
I hate you.
I love you too, bro. It's pajama night. Come out to the park. It's going to be a guaranteed good time. Don't sleep on that.
1-2 from Gardner misses.
Maybe come to Boulder, spend a whole day here, grab a bite to eat at Snooze, and then get your butt down to Scott Carpenter Park for pajama night.
2-2 from Gardner. This slapped into left field. That'll get down around Altman. Nincy coming back. Altman's going to field this ball. The throw into second at least prevents Parsons from going to second, and it's a 1-out single for the DH Parsons. And you're from the East Coast. I'm from Chicago originally. I consider myself from Boulder, but either way, at this point it works for Chicago. But what people wear here in Boulder could be considered pajamas most days.
That's true. There's a lot of flexibility with the wardrobes here of the folks that call themselves Boulderites.
Sun peeks back out, Downing at the bat. First pitch misses high.
I do not wear pajama bottoms ever, actually, but certainly not in public. That's not a style I've taken to my own, even if they were baseball themed.
Gardner behind 1-0. The runner on first is Parsons. The pitch is a curveball on the inner half, called a strike by the home plate official, Tim Hatfield.
You know, Parsons did a nice job to get under that ball and lift it into left center, but unfortunately you see his lack of speed coming to play there, as most guys would have had themselves a nice 1-out double. He only had himself a single.
1-1 is a curveball over to shortstop Addison Kosh. His only plays across the diamond, and it's a wide throw. I think that Downing was going to get there either way. It got into the grass and killed it, but off the bat, that felt like a tailor-made double play ball. But again, that long grass comes into play and sucks up another ball. It's a 1-out single for Downing that really never got 90 feet.
And I'm not sure if it's just inexperience or having something to do with the thickness of this grass, but again, we see another infielder unable to barehand a ball in the grass to make a play. It's a very uncomfortable and unnatural way to make a play like that, but had Kosh gone with the bare hand, he might have had himself an extra second to gun down the speedy catcher Downing. So first and second, 1 out. Ball lifted in the left field by the third baseman, Josh Page. Altman reaching back, reaches up and grabs it for the second out. Nice job tracking that ball. Didn't have his hand back up to the fence, but he was on the warning track nonetheless for the second out.
And a great read by Marcus Altman, and consider the wind too, which had just picked up. I actually went to close the door in our press box because the wind had been blowing so hard, and it's blowing straight out. So luckily for the Collegians, that ball stays in the yard, and with runners on first and second and 2 outs, Gardner can get out of this inning. Streeter at the bat, the second baseman. Bullock playing even with the bag at third. Everyone else playing back on the grass. The first pitch is called a strike, a curveball on the outside half. Nitze playing a bit in center, everyone else straight up.
Streeter was 3 for 4 in the first game, had himself 3 singles, stole a bag, and 2 RBIs to go to his record.
Gardner looks in, comes set, checks the runner at second, then delivers on 0-1. Fouled back. So, 2, Gardner hunting his third strikeout. 2 in the first, none here in the second. And a line drive to short and a fly out to left. Runner on first is Downing, Parsons on second. Scoreless game, top of the second, 7-inning affair. Gardner looking in at his sign from Bonar, comes set to deliver on 0-2. Checks the runner on second, kicks and delivers. Curveball called, strike 3. Gardner gets the Collegians out of the second, and it's 0-0 as we go to the bottom half. Back at Scott Carpenter Park, Brady Mitchell to the bat. He starts off the bottom of the second, scoreless game, 0-0. Starter Vinny Tarantola struck out 3 in the first. The left-hander kicks and deals. It's a ball on a fastball, it's a ball 1, I'm sorry.
Gardner did a nice job after putting runners on first and second base with just 1 out.
This pitch skied into right. Norse coming in. He'll settle under it and make the catch as the lights come on here at Scott Carpenter Park.
Gioso moves up from 9th in the order up to 6th. He went 1 for 2 in the first game with a nice double. Walked during an at-bat. And in that crazy 6th inning where 2 outfielders both made errors, Gioso made quite possibly the worst play on a ball back there. Didn't get an error, as ultimately he didn't touch the ball. But problems defensively for all the outfielders during that 6th inning in game 1. Now we see Gioso a little more comfortable at first base.
That pitch misses. It's 1-1.
Well, what I was trying to get to was the fact that Gardner got himself out of the weeds in that last inning.
Yeah, and did a good job of it. 1-1 from Tarantola. That's inside, almost hit Gioso. And it's clutch considering how poor the Collegians offense has been here for an extended stretch now. Talk to them, they'll tell you that too. 2-1, and that misses. It's 3-1.
Outside of the single by Bullock to start the game, the next 3 hitters, three of the best that the Collegians have to offer, did not look very good against this crafty lefty.
3-1, Gioso checks his swing, but called a strike on the down and inside corner, and full count now. Gioso from St. Mary's, the right-handed hitting first baseman against the left-hander Tarantola, and it's strikeout number 4. Tarantola with his 4th straight, garnered via the swing.
And Jake, I know you know this story pretty well. Let's see if we can squeeze it in here in the second inning. Vinny throws with his left hand and is thus called a southpaw. So I know you know very intimately where this name comes from.
It actually comes from boxing. It was adopted from boxing, although it's been pre-imposed upon baseball because every single Major League Baseball diamond is placed the same way with north in the same direction. So when a left-hander's on the mound in Major League Baseball, he's always facing south. Now that is not the case here. Our southpaw is actually facing west.
And I believe that the term first came about in Chicago.
Yes, at Comiskey
The original.
Park, the original Comiskey, with a boxing match being held there, which they were many times. And, of course, at Soldier Field as well, famous for boxing matches. Jack Dempsey from Colorado boxed there plenty of times. That misses, it's 1-1. I've got a poster of Jack Dempsey in my apartment right next to Tris Speaker, actually.
You have a picture, you have a poster of Spoke in your house?
Yes.
Right on. Speaker spoke.
One of the all-time leaders in on-base percentage in Major League history. That misses, it's 2-2.
That's right. We know our history here in the box. We love it.
Tarantola's 2-2. Called strike 3. And that's the 5th strikeout for Tarantola, who's got the Collegians in his web. Back for the 3rd inning. It's scoreless here at Scott Carpenter Park. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro, and we've got a great day of baseball here on the 4th of July. What better way to celebrate our nation's independence than our nation's pastime? First pitch of ball here from Race Gardner, who worked out of a jam in the 2nd inning, and that's why we're still scoreless.
Gardner's here in the yard, cultivating his fruits on the mound, dare I say.
I think I'm going to take this at bat off.
Sawyer Lofstad, the left fielder, with his first at-bat of the game. 1-1, Gardner deals. It's a ball inside.
Lofstad and the Roughriders played against the Collegians last Tuesday. Collegians won by a count of 11-2, I believe. It was a lopsided affair. 2-1 from Gardner. It's fouled over to the Collegian side. The count evens at 2 apiece. Left-handed reliever Devin Elson delivered Really nice 4 innings of work in that game. Saw his teammate John Kea from Hawaii Hilo earlier in this one, and of course, their soon-to-be teammate of Hawaii Hilo, Race Gardner, out on the mound right now. 2-2 pitch is fouled off. Gardner against the 9th hitter. Lofstead on deck is Atkins. Seeking his 4th strikeout. 2-2 pitch. It's just high.
It's going to load up the count for Gardner. Don't want to walk the leadoff hitter. Don't want to walk anyone, of course, but particularly with these Roughriders who have the ability to put the ball in play.
That's a ball, and ball 4 as Lofstead gets a leadoff walk. Those always seem to haunt.
That resets their lineup for the leadoff hitter, Adam Atkins, who did strike out in his first plate appearance here in Game 2. Lofstead with a modest lead over on first base, being held on by Gioso.
Gardner's first pitch here to Atkins. It's a ball.
And Gardner seems to have lost the strike zone here. Doesn't seem to worry too much about the runner on first base, but needs to find that strike zone if he's going to continue to be effective throughout Game 2.
Gardner's pickoff attempt to first. It's not in time. The base runner Lofstead back in safely.
Good turnout by the Roughriders. Probably our best attended game by an opposing team. Seem to have filled much of the visiting side stands.
You heard Will Mossa talk about it on the first game's pregame, but a lot of these guys are local kids. Grounded over to the left side, that gets in the 5-5 hold. Lofstead headed for third right in front of Altman, and he'll get in there safely without a throw. First and third, no outs now for the shortstop, Jeff Sear, who doubled last time.
Number 2, Sear.
And the Roughriders would surely trade a double play ball here for the first run of the game. Could be just one run that wins the game with Tarantola spinning his web.
Well, this shortstop at the bat, the right-hander, is a seriously good player. First pitch, this launched into left field. Going back is Altman, no doubt about it. 3-run home run. Jeff Sear gives the Roughriders a 3-0 lead. Just when you thought it couldn't get much worse for the Collegians, it spirals out of control with the starter dealing unhittable pitches and the shortstop hitting bombs 375 feet away from home plate.
We're used to our own Addy Kosh hitting those type of monstrous home runs, but when it comes against the Collegians, it obviously can hurt. Sear is a single away from the cycle on the day, as he did triple in Game 1. He doubled in his first at-bat, homered here, and the Collegians can't really seem to get him out.
It's 1-1 against the first baseman, Devin Bracken. This one launched into left field as well. Going back is Kosh, and he's going to take this in front of Lofstead. Was hit pretty, or in front of Altman, sorry, but that was hit really high. If it straightened out, it was over the fence.
And that home run still would have scored 2 had Gardner not walked the leadoff hitter, but again, that walk comes back to haunt Gardner and the Collegians.
3-0 off the Sear home run. Norris at the bat with 1 out, and this one into center field. Nitze going back, he'll see it over his head. It's another one for the Roughriders. This time, Jack Norris jacks this over the center field fence. It's a solo blast, and it gives the Roughriders a 4-0 lead as Race Gardner has run into some major problems here, second time through the lineup.
Gardner's ready to put this past him as he's standing right up there on top of the hill, waiting for the next batter to step in and shake it and say, let's get this next guy now. Gotta love that kind of mindset to put it behind him. 4 runs across the plate here for the Roughriders.
That pitch misses low, and Gardner has lost that confidence after the 2 home runs. You can't blame him.
And although Parsons isn't speedy outside of that first at-bat, he's yet to be retired. It's 4 straight times getting on base through hit or by walk.
That's a strike. It's 2-1 now against Parsons. Devin Elson, the left-hander, has started to get warm in the Collegians' batting cages. Gardner's 2-1. It's inside. It's 3-1.
Well, we still have a way to go until we do see Elson. Hopefully Gardner can get himself back on track again. But I like what Eddie Toledo's doing here, mixing up the lefties and the righties, going back and forth to change up those looks between the pitchers.
Gardner with a strike there. Count is full at 3-2. Looking for his 4th K and called a ball by the home plate official, Hatfield. Parsons reaches via walk as he continues his monster day in this twin bill. Jeremy Katz out to visit his right-handed starter. Race looking pretty defeated out there on the mound right now.
One of the strengths the Collegians do have is a deep bullpen and a deep roster of pitchers, even with 5 games in 3 days, back-to-back-to-back game days here at Suits Field at Scott Carpenter Park. But that bullpen only keeps you in games. It doesn't win you games. So though the Collegians are behind 4-0, a strong bullpen keeps them in it. It's going to be the bats that win them this game. And they're going to have to make adjustments against Tarantola, who's looked downright nasty.
And this is a 7-inning game, so 4-0 is pretty hard to come back from this early. We've seen it before, but you got to limit the damage if you're Race Gardner. Runner out on first, 1 out. First pitch here is a ball to the catcher, Downing. A league game. Collegians losers of 5 of their last 6. 1-0, and that's high. It's 2-0. Gardner losing the strike zone there after 2 home runs this inning, 1 a 3-run shot and 1 a solo blast. And that's a strike.
You know, we've seen starts like this from a lot of Rockies pitchers in their 25-year history. Chad Bettis being one of those guys who has given up a few runs in the early going but has still been able to finish 6 strong innings. So if Gardner can complete this 3rd inning on a high, on a Rocky Mountain high, then he could have an opportunity at the 4th and 5th inning. Certainly he's got that ability with his arm strength and Toledo giving him a bit of a leash, but that all starts with this batter right now. He's got to attack Downing. He's got to get an out here.
1 out, 2-2 pitch from Gardner. Into center field. This is going to hang up for Nico Nincy. He'll make the 2nd out on the fly ball.
What do you think, Jake, if Gardner can get a nice strikeout here and 3-4 pitches, find the strike zone, does he get another inning?
I think this is his last batter right here. Got to ride the hot hand, and Elson has been that for the Collegians, and he's warm. That's a strike from Gardner. Playing with fire with Devin Elson, and maybe appropriately on the 4th of July. It's a guy that strikes out a lot but walks a lot as well, and he's warm for the Collegians in the pen. 0-1 from Gardner. Into right field, it'll be fouled off.
So an 0-2 count here to the third baseman, Josh Page. If he gets a strike here, it'll be interesting to see which of our theories comes to fruition. If he gets taken out in favor of Elson, or if he does get that fourth inning.
2 outs, runner on first. Gardner, 0-2 pitch. It's a curveball in the dirt. Wild pitch that'll move up the runner from first to second, Parsons, as Bonar couldn't keep it in front of him.
Page flew out to the left fielder in his lone at-bat of the day here in game 2.
Gardner looks in, gets his sign, then comes set out of the stretch. Nobody holding on the runner at second. 1-2 pitch. It's in the dirt again. It's called a ball. Parsons, the DH, out there all alone. Caution. Grasser going to let him get a huge lead if he wants it. He'll score on anything. Gardner gets his sign, comes set. 2 outs, the 2-2. Foul back. Things unraveling here for the Collegians, not only in the third inning, but with their play as of late in the last half dozen games. Gardner comes set, 2-2 again. Curveball, that one clips Page. So now first and second with 2 outs as the second baseman, Stone Streeter, comes to the bat. Struck out looking his first time, but a lot has changed since then. It's the 9th guy sent to the plate here in the 4-run third by the Roughriders. Race's first pitch. It's away, a ball. 3 hits this half inning. And all 4 runs.
2 walks, a hit batter. And if Gardner's not going to continue after this inning, I think you're right. You do bring in the big lefty Elson to face this left-handed hitting Streeter.
1-0. And that's called a strike. It's 1-1.
He was 3 for 4 in the first game with 2 RBI.
Got into it with Taylor McGregor yesterday about the RBIs thing. And as well as Thomas Harding. 1-1, and that misses away. It is an acronym, so it is correct technically to say RBIs and write RBIs, but I think that's stupid. The only other acronym I can think of that does that is Prisoners of War, POWs. 2-1. And that misses away. It's 3-1.
Would you say that Gabe Gioso in a previous game had 2 HRs?
2 RBI. Oh, 2 home runs.
Yeah, 2 HRs.
Yeah, but they're runs. 2 home run. But they're home runs either
But
way.
I added an S. But I added an S on the end. HRs.
3-1, and that's fouled back. It's 3-2. No, I would say 2 HR. Just no S. HR. 2 HR.
You could, but if I said 2 HRs,
I would say hours.
You wouldn't you wouldn't throw your scorebook at me like you did the first time I said RBIs.
I'm going to throw my scorebook again at you. Gardner wants to throw the ball in the strike zone here. 3-2 runners going, and it's into center field. Nincy's going to chase this and grab it down. Big third out there, garnered in by Nico Nincy, but not before the Roughriders plate a bunch in that third inning. 4 to be exact. It's 4-0 they lead as we head to the bottom half of the third inning. The Collegians need to get another rally going. Back for the bottom of the third inning. Collegians trailing 4-0 after the 4-run third in the top half by the Roughriders. Great game on the mound thus far for Vinny Tarantola, who deals a first pitch strike on Marcus Altman, the left fielder. Already in the game, 5 strikeouts for Tarantola, who told Patrick before the game, "Don't call me Tarantula." 0-1 right back up the middle. Shortstop Jeff Sear going to take it on 2 hops and over to first to Bracken for the first out.
The ball took a few odd hops, the last of which kicked off something in the infield and came a little closer to Sear and made it easy. Yeah, Vinny was very happy that my first pronunciation right away was correct, as I have, not to toot my own horn, quite an ability to be able to read people's last names and understand the different pronunciations of Italian and Irish and where to put the inflections and what have you.
I thought it was because of you had a cousin named Vinny. My cousin Vinny?
I have a cousin named Tommy and Anthony, that half Italian.
0-1 from Tarantola, that misses. It's 1-1 on the right fielder, Meadows. Meadows has been in and out of the Collegians lineup. 1-1, swings and misses. From Georgia, Alcorn State. That's where he goes to school. Plays D1 baseball there. Tarantola looks in. His 1-2 pitch from the left side. It's away. Seen some lightning in the area. Now we're seeing lighting in the area as the sun has come back up from behind a cloud.
Looks like it may have moved right around us. Nice little 4th of July blessing from the baseball gods.
2-2, and this one cranked over to the second baseman off his glove, and that's going to get down for Meadows. Stone Streeter reached up and tried to jump and make a leaping grab. Instead, it went off his palm and into right field.
Nice piece of hitting by Meadows, who has strong wrists but can have a bit of a looping swing at times, and you saw it in that at-bat, but when he makes contact, it can be real hard, and he's a guy that, like most of these players on the Collegians, I'm really looking forward to see their growth in the coming years and see what kind of players they develop into.
We both scored that a single, didn't we?
Correct.
Okay.
If a play requires extraordinary effort, it is a single. It is not an error.
Bullock swinging hard, misses there. It's 0-1. Bryce's mom is here. Actually bought me a beer.
Bark or A&W?
Course. 0-1. This grounded over to the shortstop, Sear. On to second for 1. Nope, can't get that throw off. It's an error on the shortstop, Sear. Had a hard time getting the ball out of his glove. Couldn't transfer it to his hand as he tried to initially. Then tried to flip it with his glove, and Meadows was in safely. So score that, a fielder's choice error that allows both guys to stay on.
Meadows talking with the field umpire, Garth Jacks, a little bit about something, perhaps the second baseman blocking his path to the bag. He's not too happy right now. Hopefully he's not a bit aggravated / frustrated about possibly hurting his ankle. We know that's been an ongoing storyline with him, been banged up since he's come to Boulder, unfortunately. But he seems to be okay, and he gets himself a nice, healthy lead off of second.
Nincy left on left, swinging and missing on the first pitch from Vinny Tarantola. First jam we've seen him really in here. Collegians had 1 on in the first. They've got 2 on right now, runner on first and second with 1 out. Meadows reached on a single, Bullock on the error. Tarantola's pitch, and that's in the dirt. It's wild. Meadows headed for third. He's in there safely. Bullock advances behind the play as well. So now 2 on in scoring position and a tough spot for Nico Nincy left on left. But he has been one of the better Collegians hitters this year, and he homered in the first game in a 1-for-4 performance.
And I'm looking for a big at-bat here for Nico, not to do anything magnificent like hit a homer, but just get the ball to the right side.
1-1 pitches skyward and into the parking lot. Glad I moved my car because that's where that's headed. So Nico here, and a big opportunity. Brett Bonar on deck. Someone's got to drive these runs in as the Collegians attempt to chip away. Bullock on second, Meadows on third. 1-2, 1 out. The pitch from Tarantola, and it's grounded over to the right side. It's foul.
And there you see Nincy trying to keep the ball on the right side with a nice grounder that could score Meadows easily from third.
Meadows is taking off on contact is what we just found out from that foul ball. So look for the Roughriders to take a note of that. They are playing back in the infield, and Meadows has great speed. The 1-2 from Tarantola. This lofted over into left field. Lofsted's going to take it in front of him. 1 run scores. Bullock coming in. The throw is cut off, and that's a 2-run single for Nico Nincy. Again, Nico Nincy with a big RBI hit. Had 2 RBI in the first game, and that's 2 RBI here on the single. Cuts the score in half. It's 4-2.
Even better than I would have hoped. A nice job going with the pitch away over the shortstop's head for that 2-run single, and the Collegians start to claw their way out of this hole.
And the wild pitch there really cost Tarantola.
What a wicked web he did weave. Yeah, with runners on first and second base, only Meadows would have scored, but as you mentioned, that wild pitch allows both of them to do so on the single from Nincy.
Bonar at the plate. Big left-handed swing he's got. Tarantola, lefty on the mound, delivers a first pitch outside. And Bonar, one of the team leaders in home runs. And, of course, this is a 4th of July bash here. Would love to see a 4th of July blast from Brett Bonar. That would tie the score. Runner on first is Nico Nincy. 1-0 pitch from Tarantola, and it's fouled back by Brett Bonar. Struck out his first time, and in the first game, he walked twice, came around to score, went 0 for 2. Bonar, Nebraska-Omaha commit at Barton Community College right now. Tarantola looks in at Downing for his sign, comes set. The lefty kicks and deals. And Bonar lifts this into left field. Tough play for Sear. He dives, can't get to it. That's down, and Bonar's on with a single that moves up Nico Nincy to second. That brings up the shortstop, Addison Kosh.
And although it wasn't too powerful at-bats from the 2 left-handed hitters, but they're effective and they get singles against the same-sided pitcher, Tarantola. Coming through in the clutch, although they're at quite the disadvantage against the lefty, but they produce here in a big way.
In Collegians, yet to be retired, second time through here. Kosh struck out his first time. Bonar on first. Runner on second is Nincy. This right back up the middle. Sear to Steamer, and then on to first, and that's a double play. So again, a Collegians rally ends in a deuce, and we've seen that happen in the first game. 4-2, Collegians cut the score in half, though. In the third inning, we head to the fourth as the Collegians look to come back against these Roughriders from the RMBL. Back for the top of the fourth. Collegians trailing 4-2 after all the runs were scored in that third inning. 4 in the top half by the Roughriders, 2 in the bottom half by the Collegians to answer the Roughriders. New pitcher out there is the left-hander from Alaska. Devin Elson goes to Hawaii Hilo. First pitch there is called the ball against the left fielder Sawyer Lofstead.
Race Gardner went 3 innings, gave up 4 hits, surrendered 4 runs, all of which are earned. Walked 2 batters and struck out 3.
Elson worked 4 innings in relief of Will Massa last Tuesday. This pitch is fouled off. That was in a game against these Roughriders, and Elson was terrific. Trying to find his line right now. He went 4 innings, allowed 3 hits, walked 2, and struck out 7. 1-2 from Elson. That's inside. It's 2-2. Dev at 6'7". Not many people know what it's like to be that tall. It's 2-2 pitch. That's in the dirt.
Can you confirm if all these inside scoops you were getting about the weather were actually from him?
He's got a better look at what's coming on over yonder.
He does. I'm pretty sure he said on the other side of South Boulder Peak were some storm clouds. I don't know how he knew that, but could have something to do with his height.
3-2, and it's fouled back. He's from Houston, Alaska. Goes to Hawaii Hilo. Drives a car with Minnesota plates. That is Colorado. That's the make of the car. So a lot of different locations there for Devin. Full count pitch and misses away. It's a leadoff walk by the 9-hole hitter Lofstead. He's 6'7", 185 pounds. He's got the state of Alaska actually tattooed across his torso. Very many people are interested to see that when they hear that. He's got every island included on that, including the ones in the Bering Strait and the Aleutian Islands.
Well done.
One of several of his tattoos. He's got one that honors his brother as well, his little brother. Very thoughtful.
He's been all over America, and who better to pitch on America's birthday than Devin Elson?
Grounded right back up the middle. Addison Kosh can't get to it. Going from first to third is Lofstead in front of Nitze, and it's a single that moves up the runner from third to third.
And last inning, we saw a ball kick over to Jeff Sear at shortstop to make a nice 6-3 play. The exact opposite happened. The ball caught a piece of the mound and bounced up and just evaded the reach of Kosh. And that brings up Sear, who had a 3-run home run in his last at-bat, has an opportunity to do it again today.
First pitch, another curveball that is just so nasty every time that Devin throws it. That's the type of pitch that could get a player into the big leagues. Devin can harness a fastball. He's one of those guys that from this Collegians roster you got to look out for down the line. 1-0, and that's a strike. 1-1. I actually talked to a couple scouts about this, and Devin is one of those guys that has an opportunity to go far in his baseball career. Runner going, Bonar's throw to second. Erickson there in time. Brett Bonar guns out Adam Atkins, and it's a caught stealing for the first out.
Nice job by Grasser to pick that ball up and lay out to make this caught stealing complete. And it should be noted, Lofstead did not make a play for the plate there. Would have had an opportunity with Grasser on his tush.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Grasser's at second. Erickson was at second in the first game. This fouled over to the right side. A chance for Gabe Gioso, but no play. We'll do 2-2 instead with 1 out. Runner on third is Lofstead.
And that's the second caught stealing of the game by Bonar behind the plate there. Does a nice job keeping runners close, and that could be a key factor later on in the game if these Rough Riders need to move up a runner via stolen base. Might not happen now.
Two, and that gets above the batter Sears' head. Did not clip him. It was a curveball that jumped above Sears' head. Thankfully, Bonar was quick to act because Lofstad would have had a shot coming home from third base, and now it's a full count.
I don't think he was confused and thought it was a foul ball. I just think the third base coach and manager for the Rough Riders is being very conservative here with his runners on third base. He was not wrong in doing so in game one, so we'll give them that one here.
They do have a 4-2 lead. Elson's full count pitch into center field. Nitsy's going to have to go back and grab this one. He settles under it, easily scores the run from third, and a sacrifice fly for Jeff Sear, his fourth RBI of the ball game as it scores Lofstad from third. It's 5-2 now. Rough Riders are ahead.
Fourth RBI of the ball game, sixth RBI of the day. He's done a great job for him at the plate, obviously, and if you've been watching our feed, you know how good he's been defensively here so far in both games.
Elson into the line, kicks and deals. It's a ball. 2 outs here. Bracken at the bat, the first baseman, Devin Bracken from the right side.
Devin on Devin action.
One spells their name with an O, the other with an I.
Who's correct, who is not? I feel like I've seen D-E-V-O-N.
Is it Devon or Devin? On or in?
Devon Elson.
I actually picked this up when I was learning Spanish as that pitch misses. There's like no difference between on and in. There's no rhyme or reason to it in the English language. You say you're on the bus, but on the plane. You're in the plane and in the bus. So why do you say you're on the bus but in the plane? Or the other way around. Bullock at third will make this play across the diamond for the third out over to Gioso. So the Collegians surrender one, and it's now 5-2 as we head towards the bottom half of the fourth inning in this 7-inning game, a league game against the Rough Riders. Back as Brady Mitchell leads off the Collegians here in the bottom of the fourth. It is 5, 6, and 7 for the Collegians against the starter, Vinny Tarantola. Collegians had 2 last inning as they trail 5-2. Tarantola, the left-hander, into the windup, delivers. It's a ball away from the right-hander, Brady Mitchell. Mitchell DHing this one. I believe it's the first time he's DH'd this season. Skied foul off the bat of Brady to the right side. Starting to see the colors in the skies. The sun is about to set here in Boulder in about 20 minutes. The lights have taken effect here at Scott Carpenter Park as well. Jake Shapiro joined by my partner Patrick Lyons. And Mitchell smacks this into left. Going back is Lofstad off the wall. Brady is headed for second. He will get there standing up. It's a leadoff double for Brady Mitchell, something he is accustomed to doing.
Two-bag Brady doing a nice job to start off the bottom of the 4th inning and get that Collegians dugout a little bit hyped up. They're going to need to stay hyped up. They're going to come back here in this game for the second time in as many games. This time, we hope they keep the lead.
First pitch of ball against Gabe Gioso.
If I ate a hot dog without a bun, does that count against? Or
No,
get half?
according to the Coney Island rules, no.
Well, we didn't decide who was going to be the sanction of this event.
1-0, and that's called a strike on an off-speed pitch.
Do I get half a dog at least? I think I should get at least a half a dog. We've confirmed with the judge I do get a half a dog.
You get a half a dog. Okay, it's like a half sack. 1-1, and Gioso skyward, this in on the infield. Streeter coming in at second base, trying to find it, and juggling play will still make the out.
I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that on the replay if the pole was in the way or not, but he did a good job of really kept his eye on that ball. And if he didn't use two hands, he wouldn't have made the grab.
He reached up with both hands like a normal catch. Ball popped out of his glove. He turned it over like a backhand and caught it that way.
So kids at home, make sure you use two hands. And if you're looking for more tips like that, make sure you come out to one of the Boulder Collegians youth camps this coming week.
6th straight Boulder Collegians youth camp. First pitch a strike against the second baseman, Ryan Grasser. Runner on second is Mitchell. It was a leadoff double for Brady. 1 out, bottom of the 4th. Tarantola's pitch fouled away.
Mitchell's trying to get a good secondary lead, but Sear is really trying to keep him tethered to that second base bag. Deking him out a little bit. They exchange a couple words, seem to be nice. There may not have been some nice words as the Roughriders came off the field at the end of the 3rd inning.
0-2 pitch, and Grasser holds, thought about swinging, then checked.
We're not really sure if it's any carryover from the play at second base with Meadows, or if it's just the overall tough play of the Collegians, or maybe they're just a little bit tired of the umps as well.
Tarantola looking in. Has 5 strikeouts on the game. 1 out, runner on second, 1-2 pitch. Into center field and smoked. Atkins is going to settle under it, though. Tagging from second is Brady Mitchell. Into third base, he's in there safely. Fly out to center. Deepest part of the park there for Ryan Grasser, who really barreled that ball up.
And it's nice to see him do that after he struck out looking in his first AB. Tarantola stepped off the mound and threw over to second to ensure if Mitchell possibly left early on the tag. I can attest he did not. Base umpire Garth Jacks agreed.
That'll bring up Marcus Altman with the Collegians behind 5-2 in the 4th. This is a 7-inning game, a league game. Collegians dropped the first of this twin bill by the score of 9-5. And they're at risk of dropping to 8-8 in league action, as well as 19-11 overall with a loss in this game. Tarantola's first pitch to Altman, it's lined down the right field line, foul.
Altman's getting his power behind him now that his top hand has healed up a little bit. It's had some serious soreness for the first part of the season, and it'll be interesting to see if third base coach Katz will be a little bit more aggressive with Mitchell at third base, or Mitchell himself will be more aggressive.
2 outs, the pitch, and that evens the count at 1 apiece as it was high.
The third baseman, Josh Page, is not holding on Mitchell, obviously, not even going over to the bag after the pitch. So Mitchell getting himself a very healthy secondary lead, which really only comes into play if there's a ball in the dirt.
Tarantola's 1-1. Curveball that's down the middle, and Altman watches it for a strike. Collegian dugout very quiet. Seems like at times they get the momentum, then it goes away. Tarantola's 1-2. Strike 3 swinging. Altman couldn't stop himself from that curveball, and that's an out on the put out to first. So Collegians trail 5-2 as we head towards the top of the 5th in this 7-inning game.
Jax Norse steps into the box here to start the 5th frame off. He homered in his last at-bat to left field. The second home run surrendered by starting pitcher Race Gardner in that inning. Gardner would go on to give up 4 runs in the 3rd inning. Reliever Devin Elson gave up 1 in the 4th. 2 runs in the 3rd for the Collegians is how we come to that 5-2 score. Swung through by the big third baseman right fielder. Jack's 1 for 2 here in game 2. He was 1 for 4 in the first game with a double. Elson in his 2nd inning of work here. Misses outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. Parsons and Downing due up here in the 5th.
Rare you see Devin go a whole inning without a strikeout like we did in the first there, his first inning of relief. That 3-1 pitch is a strike. It's 3-2. It was the 4th inning, but his first inning of relief.
That's right. Devon. You forgot that we were going with that pronunciation.
No. Full count. That's in the dirt. It's another leadoff walk. Last time Devin surrendered one, came around to score.
And strikeouts certainly are sexy, but if you can't throw for strikes and you're putting runners on base, you're really going to end up doing more damage to yourself than not. And that's where Elson has got to improve upon the most if he is going to have one of those careers in professional baseball, which we certainly hope he does.
Dev's first pitch here, it's a called strike against the DH Parsons. He's 1 for 1 with a walk, has been stranded on second twice.
Norse getting a modest lead over on first base with a big lefty on the hill facing him.
That's a called strike. Dev's ahead, 0-2.
And that sweeping curveball is a major factor, especially with left-handed hitters in the box. That's a tough pitch even to go down and away on if you're a hitter.
0-2. Don't know where it missed, but it did apparently, and it's 1-2.
The umpire jerked as if he was about to call it and thought better as he replayed it in his mind.
Dev's got such a great curveball from the left side that sometimes it tricks the umpires. 1-2 and fouled away. Just was in the bathroom with a Roughrider, and it's a player that had a Tommy John surgery. Actually, their first base coach out there, that's who it was. And Dev had Tommy John as well on his left arm. Learned how to write right-handed while doing that his senior year of high school. 1-2 and swung through and missed. That's a strikeout for Dev.
So for any ladies listening to the broadcast, That's what us guys talk about when we're at the urinal.
Talking about Tommy John surgery.
And scars.
Yeah, well, he had the great tattoo that a lot of baseball players get when they get Tommy John, and a couple of Rockies have this where they make their scar from Tommy John surgery look like the seams of a baseball. First pitch here, it's a called strike against Downing, the catcher.
Now, I don't have any tattoos, but I feel like if I were ever to get one, it would have to be baseball related. How about you?
The only way it wouldn't be baseball related is Dev comes set on 0-1, checks the runner on first, Norse. That's a ball, just missed high, I guess, and it's 1-1. Would be Chicago Blackhawks or Colorado Buffaloes related, and I'd probably get a Buffalo before I'd get something baseball related, just because I do take so much pride in being a CU grad. This pitch lined right back off Dev's foot. Throw on to first. It's in time. Dev with a good job there, sticking with the play. Gets at least one after the kick save. Speaking of hockey.
Nice job on the recovery from Elson.
And a nice job by Gabe Gioso at first, sticking with a throw by Devin that was probably at 90 miles an hour.
Gioso definitely has some quality defensive skills, rather underrated too, I would even say.
And Jeremy Katz out there checking on him. Dev's fine. He'll get a warm-up pitch here.
And you could hear how hard that ball was hit because it clearly hit leather and hit the inner sole of his right foot.
Completely fine on the warm-up pitch. That'll bring up Josh Page, the third baseman.
Number 10, Page.
I always liked that, and I probably should have put that in there, but I was always waiting for a strikeout call, but it could have gone there. One of my favorite phrases in hockey, 10-bell save, or ring 10 bells for that one. Great save there by Devin with the foot. That was going to be into center field, no shot at the double play, so smartly done by the left-hander. This is in the dirt, aimed that time for Page's foot. Maybe a little payback, but it's a ball.
Bonar doing a good job kicking the ball out to the left so he could have a good eye at third baseman Bryce Bullock. Should the runner Norse have taken third, he thought better of it once he saw that Bonar kept the ball in front.
We're going to keep it locked here for the in-between the inning break, at least for a little bit. We'll catch the fifth inning stretch as sung by me, Jake Shapiro. Patrick Lyons, my partner here on the call with me tonight. 1-0. Curveball. Bonar stood up. It was high. It's 2-0. Collegians trailing 5-2 in the top of the fifth. 7-inning game, the second of a twin bill on Independence Day. Happy 4th of July to all of you out there catching nothing better than the baseball game. Runner on second is Norse. Page at the bat. Elson's 2-0, and that's towards Page's foot, blocked by Bonar.
Bonar going to take a moment to talk with his lanky lefty, make sure they're on the same page. Norse is quite the veteran player himself, so wants to make sure that he's not stealing the signs from the Collegians backstop. It's a 3-0 count, though. Elson needs to fire in a strike here to Page, who's yet to have himself a hit on the day in his 2 plate appearances here in Game 2.
Elson behind 3-0. Page the batter. Elson comes set after getting his sign from Bonar. The pitch, it's away. It's another walk for Devin. The third one he's issued here in relief of the starter, Race Gardner. Jeremy Katz will come out. Somebody getting warm in the Collegians bullpen. It's a lefty. Can't tell who.
It would be the only lefty remaining in our bullpen. I believe that would be number 15, Nick Clausen. Nick getting a chance to pitch in front of, you said both his parents here?
I think just his father is here, but I'm not exactly sure.
That's good. I know he was able to see some family when we were down in Tucson, when we came through the Tempe area, and has some family in Massachusetts he'll be visiting in just a little while. And really, that's a good way of describing these games here in Boulder.
Katz is checking on Elson for an injury here. They're still worried about him. The last strike he threw was that ball that was smoked back up and hit him on the foot.
I was actually on I misspoke. After watching the Fate Brewery replay, it was the line drive hit him in the outside of his left foot.
That's his back foot.
So he might have a difficulty pushing off a little bit, and there we see him shaking it just a little bit.
Dev was actually tipping his pitches a little bit last Tuesday against the Roughriders with his back foot. I think they've settled that just a bit. Clausen continues to warm. Runner on first is Page. Norse on second. First pitch here is a called strike against Streeter, the second baseman. It's a ball. It's 1-1. Elson doesn't want to walk another. Can get out of the inning here. 1-1. Inside, but buckles Streeter and curves back in. A beautiful curve left on left, called a strike by the home plate umpire.
And you know at this point, Stone Streeter knows what Larry Walker and John Crook felt like against Randy Johnson in the All-Star games.
Elson's 1-2 pitch. Slapped over to the second baseman, Ryan Grasser. Easy play over to first, and that is the third out of the inning. Stick around. We're going to sing the national anthem up here in the box. Or the, what is my national anthem? The seventh inning stretch up here in the box.
Fans, it's time to stand up and stretch it out for the second time tonight. Here we are in the fifth inning stretch. And tonight we've got a very special treat for you. We're going to ask you to sing along to Take Me Out to the Ball Game, led by our Collegians play-by-play announcer, Jake Shapiro.
All right, Collegians fans, let's go. Me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the... If they don't win, it's a shame. Or a 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right, let's go, Collegians. Let's get some runs, boys. Come on.
I'll answer the question for you. Yes, he's keeping his day job.
Burn. Henry, right? Henry?
Number 2.
Thank you.
Andrew Meadows.
That's awesome, Henry. You having a good time today? Sticking around for the fireworks? Oh, nice. So much excitement here at Scott Carpenter Park. We're back in action in the bottom of the fifth inning as the Collegians are down 5-2 in game 2. They lost the first one by the score of 9-5, and if they're going to chip away at this lead by the Roughriders, they're going to need to do it now here with Andrew Meadows at the plate. Jake just did the Take Me Out to the Ball Game during our fifth inning stretch, as we only play 7 innings here. Shout out to Henry from the Senior Center who came by. He's bringing a large group tomorrow. He comes out to a lot of games, used to come with his wife quite a lot, so this is a special place for him. And we heard about Nick Clausen's father being here, Bryce Bullock's mom. We know a lot of players' families have made special trips out to Colorado, not just to see their children and family members play, but just to experience the games here at Scott Carpenter Park. It's fun for all ages, for the entire family. And we're blessed to be here on the 4th of July, and we get fireworks to cap it all off. It's a beautiful thing, huh?
Big opportunity for Meadows. He's ahead 3-0. That's a leadoff walk surrendered by Vinny Tarantola. So Collegians again get a leadoff base runner on. Did so in the first inning and the fourth. Didn't score in either of those innings. In fact, the third inning's the only time they scored. They played it 2, and they did not get the leadoff guy on in that inning. Patrick Lyons, Jake Shapiro, our cameraman James as well. Runner on first is Meadows. First pitch in on Bullock is really in on Bullock, and he avoids getting hit by the pitch as the Collegians trail 5-2.
And if Vinny is going to evade any runs scored by the Collegians, he's going to need to make sure he does not walk these 2 Utes.
Pickoff attempt to first. Meadows is back in safely.
I know Jensen got that one. You think it went right over your head, huh?
Yeah.
2 Utes.
A lot gets over my head.
Oh, be short.
Like
nice
Utah
lead.
Utes. 1-0. And Bullock swinging and missing on a pitch in the dirt.
You know the film, My Cousin Vinny, but you don't know
I haven't
the
seen
quotable
it.
moments.
I
It's a
haven't
good
seen
film.
It. Yeah.
It's Marissa Tomei's first.
Ooh, Marissa Tomei.
It was her first one. She got Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting
Meadows
Actress.
taking off. Pickoff attempt. Meadows is in safely at second base. He stole on the pickoff attempt by Vinny Tarantola. Meadows was taking off on first movement, and he got in safely.
Well, the speed on display by Meadows, and if you had any question if the ankle was healed, there you go. The speedster from Alcorn State gets him down to second base in scoring position with Bullock here at the plate.
Tarantola's 1-1 and called a strike on the inner half against Bryce. It was a fastball. Bryce down 1-2. He's reached base twice, once on a fielder's choice, once on a single, scored in the third, was stranded on second in the first. 1-2. Bullock slaps this towards the left side, gets into the 5-5 hole. Meadows is going to hold up on third base, and it's a single for Bryce Bullock that continues what is the start of a Collegian rally.
Meadows had to hold up as the ball was in front of him, needed to make sure that the third baseman or shortstop didn't make a play on it, so he's got to stay at third on the single by Bullock, who, though had an unusual circumstance having him lead off in the first game as the DH, had to work through some of the uncomfortable feelings and nature of that, did a quality job in the first game, and here in the third game, he's reached base in all 3 of his plate appearances.
Brings up Nico Nincy. And first pitch is slapped down the right field line, just foul. If that gets down, Bullock's got a shot at scoring from first. Meadows would have scored easily. Nico doing a better job left on left here. As you mentioned, a 2 RBI single in the third. Against Tarantola, no action in the Rough Rider pen. 0-1. Watch, it's a curveball away, blocked by Brock Downing. Could say blocked by Downing.
Could. And you could say perhaps Cats might try to manufacture a run by sending Bullock down to second base and getting Meadows across the plate on a double steal.
Maybe way too early to think about that with no outs as that pitch misses. It's 2-1.
And with the top of the order up, too, as well.
Top of the order, and it's just the 5th inning here in a 7-inning game. Second of a twin bill, both league games. Collegians dropped the first one 9-5, came back at this time in the game, and then let up their lead. 2-1, and that's called a ball, just high against Nico Nincy. A favorable spot for Nico. He hit a 2-run home run in game 1. 5-2 the score, runners on first and third, Brett Bonar on deck. Nico at the plate, the starter Vinny Tarantola looks in at Downing for his sign, comes set. The lefty checks the runner at first, then deals. It's in the dirt, and Nico will take a walk with no outs. The bases are loaded for the big left-handed bat of Brett Bonar. And we've seen it twice tonight, Patrick, when the Collegians have had a couple guys on and it looks like they're going to get going. Double plays. The third inning ended in a double play, and the Collegians in the fourth inning of game one had their rally killed by a double play as well.
They've been a little bit unfortunate, a little bit unable to capitalize in these opportunities, but after the first time through the order when Tarantella had 5 strikeouts and only surrendered 2 singles, they are now in the third time through the order, and the Collegians seem to have figured out this left-handed pitcher. We've only seen 1 strikeout in the past 12 plate appearances by these Collegians hitters in the second, third time through the order. So they're being much more productive and much more selective in those at-bats.
4th of July festivities getting set up the road in just a few minutes. Would love to see some fireworks down here. Bases loaded, first pitch to Brett Bonar, a ball against Vinny Tarantola.
And he's been down in the zone a lot in the dirt, and that could allow Meadows to capitalize in this moment.
Runner on first, Nincy. Second, Bullock. Third, Meadows. 1-0 against Brett Bonar. Tarantola's pitch is slapped into center field. Going back is Adkins. He will settle under it. Meadows is tagging from third. He will score. Bullock holds up at second, and it's a sacrifice fly from Brett Bonar that cuts the lead to 5-3 with 2 runners still on and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th.
Got to give a lot of credit to Adam Adkins in center. Got the ball cut off to the shortstop, going over to third base to prevent Bullock from tagging up and getting to third base.
And that was that big swing of Brett Bonar, unfortunately, as it's done a couple times for the Collegians, to the deepest part of the yard. Brings up Addison Kosh, first pitch, a ball against Addy. The right-handed hitting shortstop, one of the better power hitters for the Collegians as well, hit a home run against these Roughriders on Tuesday of last week. Last time up, he killed the rally for the Collegians with a double play. Runners on first and second, 1-0 the count from Tarantola, and that pitch is fouled off. It's 1-1. So Kosh looking to make up for what he cost the Collegians in the third. It was a really nice 6-4-3 double play turned by the Roughriders. And here the tying run is on first. Tarantola's 1-1, and that's in the dirt. It's 2-1. Good block by Brock Downing, considering the speed out at second of Bryce Bullock, and some good speed on first, and Nico Nincy as well.
Pitch count getting up a little bit higher here in the 5th inning. That's why we're seeing some action down in the right field bullpen for those Roughriders.
Tarantola's 2-1, right back up the middle. That's going to get down over Streeter's head. Holding at third is Bryce Bullock, and the bases load back up again with 1 out for Brady Mitchell. It's a nice single for Addy Kosh. They all count the same, no matter if it was off the center of the bat or the end of it. We'll see how the Roughriders want to align their infield here. The outfield playing straight up, tying run out at second.
Nincy would have loved to have gone to third base on that as he read the ball off the bat immediately. He does an amazing job of seeing the ball in action.
Bracken and Page playing halfway at the corners. First pitch from Tarantola, lifted in towards right field. That's infield fly rule. Streeter settling under it, and Nurse is going to come on and make the play. It was an infield fly rule with 1 out and the bases loaded. Doesn't matter if it's on the infield or not. That's the correct call, as 2 guys for the Roughriders were there to make the play. And Brady Mitchell will want his first swing of the at-bat back. Brings up Gabe Gioso. And Gabe hit 2 home runs last Sunday for the Collegians. Looked good in the first game as well. Really hitting the ball hard. Had a double, a walk, and flew out to right. Bases are loaded here. 5-3 the score. 2 outs. Tarantola, the left-handed starter, still on the hill. First pitch is a ball. Started off the game hot for the Roughriders with a bunch of Ks. We haven't seen many since, as the Collegians have put together some nice at-bats here as of late. Collegians scored 2 in the third. They've scored 1 here in the 5th. They trail 5-3. Runner on second. That's the tying guy, is Nico Nincy. Pitch is fouled off of Gioso's leg. Meadows came across to score on the Brett Bonar sacrifice fly. Kosh on first, Nincy on second, Bullock on third. Nico had the 2 RBI single earlier on in the game. 1-1, and that's inside. Bullock's going to hang up at third. Great read by Bryce Bullock.
From my vantage point, it almost looked like it hit the back foot of Gioso. It obviously did not. And had Bullock been taking a strong secondary lead, he may have thought about actually trying to swipe home plate on that.
I thought Brock Downing actually stopped that with his mask, which would be a 3-base infraction against Downing. You can't do that, and Bryce Bullock just came and ran home to touch home plate. He never saw the time was called, and that was a smart play by Bryce Bullock. Doesn't cost you anything. Unfortunately, time was called for the Collegians, and he's still at third. Got under the catcher Brock Downing's skin, that maneuver by Bryce, so he jawed him a little bit. Tarantola's 2-1 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Fouled back to the screen.
Yeah, the home plate umpire looks like he kind of raised his hand ever so slightly at his side, saying, sure, you got timeout since you called it, but never put his hand up to alert all the infielders and all of the runners that time was called.
Big spot. Collegians down 2. 2-2 count with 2 outs to Gabe Gioso. He watches a ball. The count runs full. So now everyone will get going, and with Gabe Gioso's ability to hit it in the right center gap, that means that out at first, Addison Kosh is going to have a chance to score. Bullock at third, the runner on second's Nico Nincy. That's the important run, the tying run. 3-2 from Tarantola. And Gioso swings through, this runner going back to the screen. The throw on from Downing. It's over the head. Bullock scores. The run from third, Nico Nincy scores. Holding at third is Addison Kosh, and he is back in there safely. So it's a strikeout. That plates 2 for the Collegians. They tied at 5 in the 5th.
Absolutely electric here at Scott Carpenter Park as they push 2 across the plate on a strikeout to tie the game up. And Addison Kosh wanted to score badly. Cats held him up, and he still took a few extra steps thinking the ball would get away. Nearly got picked at third base, but he knows his ability, knows how to get back to the bag carefully.
Late stop sign indeed. Couldn't ask for more out of Vinny Tarantola that got Gioso swinging, but the runners going saved the Collegians there because there would have been a force out at the plate had the runners not been going. First pitch by Grassers through the 5-5 hole, and the Collegians take a 6-5 lead here in the 5th. Grasser capitalizes on the mistake by the Roughriders, and the Collegians go ahead again.
Luck finally turning the Collegians' way here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Grasser saying, let's earn one here with a nice line drive in the hole there. This 2-out rally has been exactly what the doctor has recommended, and Altman's going to try to keep it going so they can bat around. 9th
batter of the inning, Marcus Altman up to the plate, watches a ball on the first pitch. The Collegians have runners out at first and second. They are ahead 6-5. 4-run 5th right now off of some errors and costly miscues by the Roughriders. 1-0 pitch, and that's swung through and missed by Marcus Altman. Collegians with 3 hits this inning, and the 2 runs on the wild pitch. Grasser scored Kosh on that RBI single moments ago. 1-1 from Tarantola, and it's high. It's now 2-1. Collegian dugout up and lively.
Mason Hitz still warming up in the right field bullpen for the Roughriders, but it appears they may have waited just a bit too long to change out their pitchers.
2-1 from Tarantola. Into center field, that's down in front of Adam Atkins. Coming around from second is Gabe Gioso. The throw comes into third, and it's a very important insurance run for the Collegians as they take a 7-5 lead, tacking on, and now they bat around as well. Going from first to third was Grasser, and Altman holds up at first, and that lends the Rough Rider manager out to the mound as well.
And you know, you say insurance run, but here in RMBL play where lineups are stacked from top to bottom, 2 runs with 2 innings left to play is anything but insurance. If the Collegians keep pressing here, maybe they can put the game out of reach, but you like the aggressive nature from Altman, who's finally healthy and finally able to produce for the Collegians.
Collegians ahead 7-5 now as they have a 5-run 5th. New pitcher with 2 outs. We'll tell you about him when we come back. It's Jake Shapiro, Patrick Lyons. Back here in the bottom of the fifth, and if you've reached the bottom of your fifth, have a happy 4th of July. It's Independence Day in Boulder, Colorado, and the Collegians have just played at 5 in the fifth to give themselves a 7-5 lead. And you know what, Patrick? I hate to take credit for this. No, I don't. But the 5th inning stretch was sung by me, and I said let's get some runs at the end of it, as the famous Cub broadcaster Harry Carey used to say. And what have the Collegians done this inning, Patrick?
Got you some runs.
They got me some runs.
It's a beautiful thing.
Come home to daddy.
Ask and you shall receive.
Morgan hits the new pitcher. Mason hits? I've been told it's actually Mason hits, sorry. Morgan's his older brother. Both of them Boulder High grads. Mason, the right-hander, will deal to the Collegians, who have runners out at first and third after batting around here in the 5th inning. Meadows up to the plate for the second time, walked and came around to score to start this inning off. Vinny Tarantola, who was going along very nicely, has been dehilled.
Forget about it.
Brings Meadows to the plate. Runner on first is Altman. Third is Grasser. The pitch. And Meadows faked a bunt, pulled it back, and it's a strike. Out at third was Josh Page. He was back out on the grass. He came in halfway with the bunt, so good recognition for Meadows, who was going for a bunt for a hit. Hits is 0-1, and that's a strike. 0-2, big lead out there at third from Grasser. Orange Mills, Orange Mills. Oh, 2. Hits can get the Roughriders out of this inning. Called strike 3 on Meadows across the letters, and Collegians are finally done here in the 5th, but not before they flip the script with 5 runs, giving themselves a 7-5 lead. A huge 5th inning for the Collegians, as they were at risk of losing 6 of their last 7, and now they're on top and hopefully can hold on. We'll take you home right here. It's a 7-inning game. We'll get the 6th when we come back. Here at Scott Carpenter Park for the top of the 6th. We just saw the Collegians plate 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th to take a 7-5 lead and chase the starting pitcher, Vinny Tarantola. Now pitching for the Boulder Collegians, the man who looks to walk on at the University of Texas, it's Nick Clausen. Starts off 9th hitter Sawyer Lofsted with a strike. Lofsted has walked in his 2 plate appearances and
come around to score in both occasions. Devin Elson's day is done. 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. 3 walks, 1 K, and 1 extremely sore left foot.
And he's in line for the win right now, Patrick, as the Collegians took the lead with him still in the ball game.
He's got his left foot elevated as it's incredibly sore. He swapped out his cleats, trying to walk around on it just a little bit to keep it loose as it's incredibly black and blue. Clausen misses outside to load the count full against the left fielder.
Yeah, tried to fight through that on the line drive back up the middle, but ultimately lost the battle to the black and blue. Full count pitch from Clausen, right back up the middle. Kosh will see it go over his head. That's a leadoff single for Lofstad. And here we go again. These games are never over here at altitude, no matter where you're playing, Coors Field or down here in Boulder, which is actually a bit higher, 5,345 feet, as my friend Mark Johnson likes to say, of Rocky Mountain altitude.
Oh my gosh, I thought Mark Johnson was in the booth for a second there when you did that.
He's been in here before. Adam Atkins comes in, 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Scored a run and was caught stealing last time in the 4th. It's a big out for the Collegians back then. Clausen, the lefty. It's been good for the Collegians, mostly. First pitch is a strike. It's swung on and missed by Atkins, but he did blow a save a couple weeks ago.
And we saw him come into a game late where the Collegians were trailing and pitch a strong 3+ innings. Ended up earning himself the win, much like Devin Elson coming in a game in which the Collegians are losing, but pitches admirably. They come from behind. He's now in line for the win. A lot of symmetry here for these Collegian lefties.
Clausen ahead, 0-2. It was Gardner, then Elson, now Clausen. Runner on first, Lofstad. Clausen's 0-2 to Atkins. Swung through, strike 3. Bonar having trouble finding this ball. It'll be a wild pitch that advances Lofstad to second. Of course, first base was occupied, so Atkins can't go to first.
That brings Jeff Sear to the plate. He's been the hottest hitter for these Roughriders. He's got himself 4 RBIs in this game alone. Doubled, homered, hit a nice sacrifice fly in the 4th. In game 1, had himself a triple. He walked, scored 2 runs, and has been involved in a lot of great defensive play as their shortstop.
First pitch to Sear. It's a called strike on the outside from Nick Clausen.
Doing a nice job of getting those first pitch strikes, getting ahead of the batters, making them have some weak contact, controlling the zone. Let's see if he can keep this up.
0-1. It's in the dirt, blocked by Bonar. Tying run is at the plate at 7-5. 1-1 the count with 1 out here in the 6th. This is a 7-inning game. Collegians lost the first of this doubleheader by the count of 9-5. Both of these league games, loss by the Collegians would mean them dropping into 4th place with the Roughriders just a half game back. So important seeding for the RMBL tournament. Over to the right side, it'll go foul. The count goes to 1-2.
This is a key at-bat, I think, for Clausen, as Sear has been searing hot.
And Clausen's ahead 1-2. 1 out, the pitch. On the outer half, Sear thought about it, checked his swing, thankfully for the Roughriders, as it was called, the ball.
That's that 2-seam fastball he likes to throw, where he cranks his wrist much like a screwball. The ball looked as if it was coming in, then darted away at the last moment.
2-2 curveball with lightning back in the background, and that's a foul ball. I was just about to say before we saw lightning, some really ominous-looking clouds now coming in from the south over Boulder. We saw some brief rain here during Game 2. Lightning strikes at the end of Game 1. I think we're going to get these games in, but the biggest question now is, do we get the fireworks in? And that's the main concern here on Independence Day. Clausen. His 2-2 pitch. It's inside. Sear takes. The count runs full. And I don't have a problem walking, even though Sear is the tying run, with just how good Jeff Sear has been against the Collegians in the 3 games we've seen him. First base is open. On second is Lofsted. Full count from Clausen. Fouled off again by Sear.
On deck, Devin Bracken, who is hitless in this game, 0 for 3. Did strike out his first at-bat, but in game 1, he was their hot hitter as he went 2 for 3 with a sac fly and 2 RBI.
Clausen again on full count, comes set, delivers, and it's fouled back.
Good battle going here between Sear and Clausen. Each man not wanting to give up their ground, each man wanting to come ahead the victor. Here's a little of those fireworks we were hoping to see.
Fireworks in the foreground, lightning in the background. Fireworks soon to be in the background as well. Clausen's full count pitch to Sear, cranked into center field. Going back is Nico Nincy. Will he have room? He does on the warning track. Moving from second to third is Lofsted, and he goes in safely. For a brief second there, the way that sounded off the bat, Patrick, and you tell me, that sounded like it was going to get out. It did not find the jet stream, which is not consistent here, but when it finds the jet stream, balls just crank out, and that was definitely barreled by Sear.
Well, we saw when the rain was falling in the early portion of game 2 that it was coming in towards the press box and slightly towards the first base side. So if the wind had kept up that momentum, it definitely got pulled back just enough to be a simple fly ball out.
And that was 5 feet shy from the 390 mark out there in center. It's 388 to center, 390, 395-ish to the center field corners, 320 down the right field line, 334 down the left field line here at Scott Carpenter Park. Clausen's behind 2-0 against Bracken with 2 outs. Runner on third, the pitch, it's fouled back.
On deck is Jax Norse, who walked his last at-bat, but in his second at-bat today in game 2, he did hit that home run.
Collegians are 4 outs away from a victory. You got to get out of this one. 2-1 from Clausen. It's into center field again. Nico's going to have room to make this play. In fact, coming in, and that will be the 3rd out here in the 6th. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Collegians could use some insurance. They're ahead 7-5 as we head to that bottom of the 6th. Back for the bottom of the 6th. Bryce Bullock coming to the bat. in the game. The leadoff hitting Bryce Bullock is 2 for 3 with 2 singles, has scored 2 runs as well. 4th at bat of the ball game, and he tries to bunt. It goes back foul.
Starting to see a little lightning dance across the center field view over the treetops. Still rather far away. We've yet to hear thunder. We have heard some fireworks in the nearby neighborhoods. Everyone's getting very excited for these bad boys to get set off. Could be any minute.
Lightning strikes again as Bullock watches a ball. It's 1-1.
You know, with a quick bottom of the 6th, certainly don't hope that's the case, and a quick top of the 7th, we could see fireworks just as the game getting over.
Bullock lines this into center. Moving back is Adkins. He makes an over-shoulder grab for out number 1. I don't think the fireworks start until like 9:30 or 10. 9:45 is what I've been told by Adam Stowe, who works in the CU athletic department, so he'll know better than anyone.
Now, last 4th of July, I should mention I was down in Albuquerque as a fan with my family, and the game got over. I was marveled by this because I'd only been to one AAA game before this season. 2 hours and 2 minutes. We went into the top of the 9th, and the game was at like 1:55, and we had a chance to be under 2 hours. It was amazing.
Rockies game today, almost around 2 hours. I'm going to have to get an official time on that because without the delay, and there was a delay, so you kind of have to count that too, but torrid pace 1-0 game, and you rarely see that at Coors Field, let alone the 1-0 game, but a quick game like that, and let's see, 17-minute delay, but a 2 hour and 15-minute time.
Wow.
So at Coors Field, that's incredible.
Well,
of course, I wasn't working today.
In Albuquerque, when the game went...
They probably had to wait, meanwhile, to set off fireworks because it wasn't even dark yet when they finished that game up.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. In Albuquerque, we actually had to wait about 20 minutes for it to get completely dark. So they just played videos on the scoreboard as we just kind of waited around for the big fireworks display. And they're probably doing the same thing over at Coors right now.
Right. They set them off about this time last night as the game wrapped up around 9, 6:10 first pitch last night as well. Nitzy behind 0-2, the pitch from Hits, and that's just a bit inside. Watch out, Bull Durham, the Durham Bulls mascot.
It looked like a pitch that come out of A.J. Burnett's hand. Hit that truck driving behind home plate with Billy the Marlin in the back.
And that's a strikeout as Hits gets Nitzy down swinging, and that's the second out of the 6th. We'll see Brett Bonar to the plate with 2 outs. Collegians ahead, 7-5. Nobody in the bullpen. Clausen will have the opportunity for a 2-inning save.
This would certainly be an opportunity for an insurance run for the Collegians, as all it takes is a single base runner to get on, and like that, the Roughriders would have the momentum that they needed.
Collegians losers of 5 of their last 6. 1-0, and Bonar watches a ball. Have dropped to 19-10 and 8-7 on the year after their loss in the first of the doubleheader. Trying to stay above water in league play. Hits his 2-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled off by Bonar. Straightens that out, and that's over the correct fence.
And it should probably even be pointed out that this losing streak or losing spell started a little even before when we're discussing, you know, the team started out 12-1 and since then has been 7-9.
Yeah. So it's been about a couple weeks of losing here for the Collegians after the torrid start.
You know, winning was becoming very easy, and don't want to say the players were becoming nonchalant, but it got to be the norm. It got to be the way. Get out 6-7 runs early on in the game and coast to a victory.
2-2 from Hits. Curveball right back up the middle from Bonar. Coming in is the center fielder Adkins. He never had a shot at that. It's a single as it falls in the triangle. So second single of the game for Brett Bonar. This one a 2-out single, and it brings up Addison Kosh, who singled and scored last time.
So now that the W's aren't coming quite as easy, sure, 7 and 9 in their last 16, they are showing that they can take a punch in the face and come back and fight like we saw in Game 1. Didn't get the W, but they're doing it again here in Game 2, hoping that the fate reverses and they can come away with a big victory here in Game 2 on the 4th of July. Modest lead by Bonar at first, checks the runner. Fastball away, just misses.
One out. And that is a strike on the outside. It's 1-1. Lightning increasing in consistency and timing between. Talk about the clap of thunder. The Lightning has increased like a slow clap. It's been in steady variance now as that pitch is fouled off. It's 1-2.
And like a slow clap or a wave by a group of fans at a stadium, we actually saw a wave go down here in our stands, led by Collegians GM Matt Jensen. Got the crowd riled up. Started up right here in the bleachers behind home plate, went down the third base line. We think it went all the way around the outfield wall. Not sure who was doing it, but it must have, because it came back around the first base side.
1-2. Swung through and missed by Kosh. Collegians 3 outs away from a victory. We go to the top of the 7th. It's Jake Shapiro, Patrick Lyons. We'll give you what you got to get home here, right here on the Boulder Collegians YouTube channel.
Dawson Pomeroy now on the hill for the Collegians to close out the game here. 7-5 lead, in his first pitch is a strike to their cleanup hitter, Jax Norse. He homered in his second plate appearance today. Lined out and walked. The 0-1 goes for strike number 2.
Pomeroy has been great as a starter for the Collegians and, of course, has that ability for the strikeouts. holds the Collegians club record with 15 in a ball game, working for the close here. The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 swinging, 2 outs away from a victory on 4th of July. Stick around after the game. We'll talk to who we've deemed the player of the game, Bryce Bullock. Went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, including the 4th run, which brought the Collegians 1 run away. That pitch misses from Pomeroy against Parsons. Into the line, the 1-0, and that misses as well. It's 2-0.
Luke Parsons had himself a nice string of plate appearances, 5 straight where he was not retired. Had 2 singles, a double, walked twice. He's ahead 2-0 here, excuse me. And Pomeroy pushes 1 across for strike 1.
Struck out his last time in the 5th as well. That's what ended that streak.
On deck, Brock Downing, who is 0 for 3. Josh Page does not have a hit after him, and Stone Streeter is 0 for 3 as well.
Pomeroy deals a strike. It's 2-2. Pomeroy looking for the K against Parsons into the line, misses wide. So full count. Last thing Pomeroy wants to do is get somebody on. The tying run is still stuck on deck right now. 3-2 from Dawson. Called! Strike 3 on the inner half. He got Parsons looking. Collegians now 1 out away from a 4th of July victory. They lost the first of the doubleheader 9-5, both of these league games against the Roughriders. Beat the Roughriders last Tuesday, and they would go to 2-1 against the Roughriders this year. They've lost 5 of their last 6, the Collegians have, so need a big victory here. Pomeroy into the wind against Downing. First pitch, it's fouled away.
And the Lightning is getting just that much closer. Pomeroy is going to need to work quickly here to get out of this without there being another delay.
And we just saw some fireworks near the Lightning as well. Pomeroy ahead 0-1. The pitch, it is a strike, 0-2. Pomeroy 1 strike away from a Collegian victory. They lead 7-5 on the 4th of July. Dawson's 0-2. Strike 3 swinging. Collegians split the doubleheader. Pomeroy strikes out the side in the 7th, and Collegians win 7-5.
Just the fireworks we were hoping to get here on the 4th of July for the Boulder Collegians. They drop game 1, but come through in a big way in game number 2 with 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Race Gardner started the game through 3 innings and gave up 4 earned runs. Devin Elson was the man who gets the W as he pitches very well, and his 2 innings would have gone on even longer had it not been that line drive off of his left foot. He gets the decision as Nick Clausen gets a hold, doing a nice job in the 6th inning. And in the 7th inning, Mr. K puts an exclamation point on things as Dawson Pomeroy strikes out 3 straight batters in just about 10 pitches. Does a great job and gets us out of a jam as we're worried about the Lightning. Nevertheless, we've got Jake Shapiro down on the field, and he's got Bryce Bullock, who did a nice job going 2 for 4. He scored 2 runs, did a nice job defensively over at third base. And just before we get started in our kickball game, let's go down to the field with our player of the game, Bryce Bullock, with our own Jake Shapiro.
Bryce, on Independence Day, you guys, fireworks on the offensive side, finally get going. How nice is that?
No, it was awesome. It was awesome to come out here and bring a lot of confidence to the field and, just get our fans something to cheer about on Independence Day.
You went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and 2 singles in the ball game. Had some nice plays over at third base, and finally get the win against, a couple losing efforts here. How nice was that? What's the feeling like right now in the clubhouse?
No, it was awesome. I just tried to see the ball a little bit deeper today and just get my guys in and keep scoring them, and I think we did a good job of that.
Bryce, fireworks, what's the plan for the Collegians tonight?
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun and just watch some fireworks in the sky. Nothing much to it.
That's Bryce Bullock. Happy Independence Day. Back upstairs to my partner, Patrick Lyons.
And if the festivities here at Scott Carpenter Park weren't enough for you, you can come back tomorrow at 5:30 as they've got a doubleheader against two separate teams, one of which is a league game. There's another game at 6:05 on Friday. So we've got a lot more game here. It was a game in which everybody chipped in. We had about five Collegians to be exact, who scored runs, which was fantastic. They were able to push across 9 hits and do damage to a starter, Vinny Tarantella, who his first time through the order struck out 5 guys and looked to be dominant in the early going. But they adjusted, they made changes, and that's what they're going to need to do if they're going to run deep in the Rocky Mountain Collegiate Summer Baseball League playoffs.
So an awesome end to a split effort by the Collegians, and they moved to 9-7 in league play after their comeback win and 20-10 overall. We'll have coverage of tomorrow's doubleheader for you. Games begin at 5:30. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro, and we're going to wish you guys a happy 4th of July and sign off so we can enjoy the fireworks as well. Thank you for tuning in. Collegians win the second of the doubleheader by the count of 7-5. Happy birthday, America.